Hey there, and welcome back to another Stereo Launch video. This is video 2 of the series, How to Record a Song, a quick start guide. Today we're going to be talking about scratch tracks. If you missed the first video, you can check that out right here, or I'll leave a link in the description down below. All right, so scratch tracks. What are scratch tracks? Why do we use scratch tracks and all that good stuff? So basically, scratch tracks are temporary recordings of the different parts of the song so that when we go to record our real takes, the ones we're going to keep, the keepers, we have something to listen to. So that's important for a couple of reasons. One, if you're like me, if you're only listening to a click as you're recording, you get about 3 minutes in, and then am I coming up on the bridge, or am I on the last chorus, or where am I? I get lost. So having scratch tracks kind of helps you know where you are within the song, or whoever's recording the final part. If you hire a drummer or whatever, then they know where they are within the song, right? So that definitely helps, makes it more comfortable to play to and easier. And another thing is that scratch tracks just help you get a better performance when you do go to record your final tracks. You got, a representation of the song there, and you kind of, you're listening to it and you're playing, just like if you're in a band situation or something like that. It's just much more inspiring, and you're going to get a much better performance, and that's probably the best reason to have scratch tracks anyways. Now, scratch tracks don't have to be perfect. They should be pretty good, but we're not going to spend like 5 hours getting our guitar tone or whatever, finding that perfect sound. We're not there yet. We're just getting a representation down. So if it's a high gain guitar style song, crank the amp up. If it's a clean country song, acoustic guitar, whatever. So get in the ballpark, but we're not going to spend a bunch of time getting the perfect tone, right? Now, with that said, the parts you play, your rhythms should be correct. You should play the right notes and all that good stuff. You don't want a bunch of wrong notes in there, and your guitars or whatever instruments should be in tune, because you're going to be listening to this 20, 30, 50, 100 times as you build out your final tracks. So you don't want to listen to this out of tune guitar the entire time or whatever. So your scratch tracks should be decent. They don't have to be perfect, just decent. And I never record scratch tracks with the hope or the intent of them ending up on my final tracks. I plan to replace all of them, and I can't think of a time that I haven't replaced them. So these are just temporary, just to help you get better performance and better parts when it's time to actually record. So when we start recording scratch tracks, where do we start? I'm a guitar player, and most of my songs are centered around guitars, and so I will usually start with guitars. If you're a piano player, you might start with piano, etc. Usually whatever instrument is like the main instrument that's going to be at the beginning of the song and the end of the song and everything in between, I would usually start with that, whatever that main instrument is that kind of carries the chord progression and all that stuff. So in this song, like I said, in my first video, I'm re-recording a lot of my old school pop punk songs. So this song is very much guitar driven, so I'm going to start with guitars. Now, when I go to lay down my scratch tracks, there are a couple ways I approach it. If the song is straightforward enough, then I'll come in here in my software, right? Make sure my click is turned on, set a guitar track for record, right? And then I'll hit record, and I'll just play to the click. Now, as you can hear, this song's kind of fast. We're at 210 beats per minute, so it's a little fast to just be playing the click. I'll probably get lost at some point going that fast. Not only that, but I got a couple weird stops in this song, and there's some straight tempo and some half tempo stuff, and so I'm going to get lost doing that. Another thing I might do to help when I record my scratch tracks is I might come into Easy Drummer, open that up, and here's this pattern. It's an Americana MIDI pack. I'm sure there's another one that's exactly like this someplace else, but I'll use this one because this is just a kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, right? Like this. Right? And so if I use that, that's not going to mess me up as far as my rhythm playing on guitar or whatever, because it's essentially just like a click, 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 kick, snare, right? So it's doing the same thing. So I'll just take that and I'll just drop it in right here, and then I'll just duplicate that out, you know, however long I need to, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever the length of the song is. And that way I have just that to go with. And so that's actually what I usually do. It's just a little easier to play to. And so I'll usually do that. Again, this song's got some weird stuff in it. So I use that pattern, just that kick, snare pattern, and just a hi-hat quarter note pattern. It's a tss, 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 right? I use that, and I kind of just built out the song a little bit. Where it's, you know, regular tempo, it's regular tempo. Where it's half tempo, I change it to half tempo. And where there's a stop, I put a stop in there. So nothing fancy. It's just basically a click track at the right tempo for the different parts of the song. So to show you that real quick, I have that right here. I always do a 4 count on the hi-hat as my count in. So I got a 1, 2, 3, 4, go, right? Just makes it easier. That's instruments are playing in that measure. They got a little thing you'll hear in a minute. And then regular tempo, regular tempo, regular tempo, regular tempo, half tempo, break, regular tempo, right? And then, like I said, half tempo and break again. And then here's where it's just quarter note hi-hats, half tempo. So these aren't the drum parts. They're just basically a click track at the right tempo for me to listen to at the right spots. It's just going to make it a whole lot easier for me to play. So with that in mind, let's start recording some guitars. All right, so I'm kind of set up here. I got my Les Paul going into the Egnator tweaker. I have my Friedman Dirty Shirley pedal for my gain tone, right? I didn't take a lot of time to set up this tone and stuff. This is kind of what it is. I may end up changing things as we go forward because, like I said, early 2000s pop punk kind of stuff. Everybody was using dual and triple rectifiers and all that stuff, and this isn't quite that sound, but this will get us close enough for now. So lay down the guitar part, and here we go. All right, take one, down. And one little last guitar thing, there's just a little lead part at the very beginning. Just gonna throw that in there to have it in there. Time for some bass, just to lay down a little low end, just to fill it out, just to have it there. So again, it's just a little more inspiring and all that stuff. and a little more realistic while I work on the drum parts. All right, so time for a couple quick vocal scratch tracks. Just got my normal SM7B set up here and just headphones on, speakers turned off, and all that good stuff. Like everything else, we're just using one input so far. All the guitars are on one input, bass is on one input, vocals are one input. So again, super easy to do if you just have a small interface or whatever. Nothing fancy here. Don't expect anything amazing on vocals, but here we go anyways.
Everybody seem to think that you and me were meant to be. When better times have passed by, you're leaving me to wonder why you push me away. Yeah, it won't be long before you're gone. You look down at me, you're gone to me. Your everything is better when you're mad at me, and I don't mean you're wrong for me. You're wasting all my time.
All right, so that's kind of the basic rundown of laying down scratch tracks. Again, didn't spend a lot of time on sounds, just got something kind of close. Didn't worry about being perfect, just got something pretty good. There's a few timing things I might tweak and clean up or whatever, just to solidify a few things. But all in all, just quick passes just to get it down and all that stuff. There's a bunch of other stuff, other vocal parts and guitar parts and things that are going to go on, but I didn't worry about putting all those in right now, and we'll kind of build those up as we record our final tracks. All right, so real quick before we go, make sure you hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff. In the description down below, got a couple links to a couple free guides. One is for how to record loud sounding guitars at home without waking the kids or upsetting the neighbors. I used a couple of the techniques here. There are a few more. I talk about all those different options for you in that guide. And also, if you're wanting to build out your home studio, maybe you already have one or looking to upgrade or change some things up, I have another guide talking about 10 things to consider when you're buying gear and building out your home studio. Kind of where to spend money, where to save money, what to prioritize, and all that good stuff. So again, those guides are in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Next video is going to be about drums and how we're going to handle drums. So see you then.